Let me put a real face on this because a rule like this does not truly land until you watch it happen to a person. Picture a man, 63 years old. He started his Social Security a little early, and he is receiving $2,000 a month, so $24,000 a year in benefits. But he is healthy, he likes his work, and he is still on the job earning $70,000 a year. Now watch what the earnings test does to him. We take his $70,000 in earnings and we subtract the limit, that $24,480 line. That leaves $45,520 of what they call excess earnings. And the rule says Social Security withholds $1 for every $2 of that excess. Half of $45,520 is $22,760. So Social Security is going to withhold $22,760 from him this year. Now stop and look at that number because here is the gut punch. His entire Social Security benefit for the year was only $24,000. The rule just withheld almost all of it. And in practice, the way Social Security actually does this is they do not shave a little off each check. They stop the checks entirely, one after another, until the withholding is satisfied. So this man is going to see roughly 11 of his 12 monthly payments simply not show up. He is still working, still earning, and his Social Security, the money he was counting on, just goes quiet for almost the whole year. Imagine building your monthly budget around that deposit and then watching it vanish, month after month, with no clear explanation in front of you. That is the earnings test, and that is exactly why people panic when it hits them. And right there is where the most expensive mistake in this whole subject gets made. So I need you to hear this next part very carefully, because it is the piece almost nobody understands. That money that got withheld, it is not gone. It is not lost. You did not forfeit it. Here is what actually happens. When you reach your full retirement age, Social Security goes back and recalculates your benefit, and it gives you credit for every single month it withheld a check. They permanently raise your monthly payment to pay you back for those withheld months over the rest of your life. So the earnings test is not really a penalty in the way that it feels. It is much closer to a forced deferral. They are not taking your money. They are holding some of it and handing it back to you later in bigger monthly checks. Now you are allowed to have your own opinion about whether you would rather have the money now or later. That is a fair argument. But it is a completely different thing from losing it, and that difference matters enormously. Because here is the practical reality I have watched play out again and again with real families. Most people have no idea that recalculation exists. All they see is their check disappearing. They feel robbed, they feel punished, and out of that fear they make a snap decision that genuinely hurts them. They quit a job they did not need to quit. Or they slam the brakes on their benefits in a way that throws off their entire retirement plan. The confusion costs them far more than the rule ever would have. So write this down as your very first move to protect yourself. Do not panic. If this rule hits you, the worst thing you can possibly do is make a rushed decision out of anger or fear. The money is coming back to you. Decide based on the math, not on the feeling. If this is already clearing things up for you, do me that quick favor and give the video a like. It genuinely helps me get this in front of more people who are frightened about their checks for no good reason. All right, let us keep going because I promised you both sides of this and the moves that actually stop it. Now, I want to be fair with you because I am not here to sell you a fairy tale, and not everyone agrees this rule should be thrown out. There are serious people who argue the earnings test still does a useful job, and here is their case, because you deserve to hear it. They say Social Security was built as a retirement program, a safety net for people who have stepped out of the workforce, not a bonus check for people who are still fully employed and earning a strong income. And they warn that if you remove the earnings test completely, you could see a wave of people rushing to claim their benefits at 62 simply because they can, with nothing holding them back. And that is a real danger, because claiming that early permanently shrinks your monthly benefit by roughly 30% for the rest of your life. So a rule that accidentally talks some people out of claiming too early might, for those particular people, be doing them a backwards sort of favor. There is also the bigger money question hanging over all of this. Social Security's own trustees already project the program running into a serious funding shortfall within the next decade, and eliminating the earnings test would push more money out the door sooner. I am not telling you any of this to drown you in policy. I am telling you so that when you hear the exciting headline, you understand it is not a clean, free win, and it is not a sure thing. Which brings me to that headline, the reason this whole subject is suddenly everywhere. There is a bill in Congress right now whose entire purpose is to kill the earnings test once and for all. It is called the Senior Citizens Freedom to Work Act of 2026. There is that name again, the very same name as the law from the year 2000. It was introduced by Representative Greg Murphy and Senator Rick Scott, and if it passes and becomes law, the earnings test is simply gone.